Men of Reddit, how do you navigate the friend zone? I think it's like an important moment of maturation to get to the point where you're just honest with people and say, all right, I'm not looking for more friends though, really. I'm just taking the no and moving along. You accept the friendship for what it is or you walk away. Those are your options. There is no third option. I don't. If she's not interested, I give her and myself the respect by walking away. I would just stop talking to her at that point. You navigate it by being friends with them without expectation and move on romantically. If you are unable to do that, you need to take a step away from that friendship until you can. The simple fact is if you are in the free-in zone, they likely just aren't and never will be romantically interested in you, and you need to respect boundary like the well-adjusted adult you should be. As men, what is something you wish all girls knew about us? It's ok if you make the first move. Guys can be shy too. If you want your man to spend time with you, just be honest. You'd be amazed at how receptive a man would be to his girlfriend, wife. Being asked to love and adore you is entirely different than getting yelled at for not doing so. We don't get subtle. Stop with the hints. Our dicks get hard for no reason. We really are capable of thinking about nothing. We actually have feelings. That if I seem out of it, it doesn't mean I don't love her anymore. Not everything in my life is about her. If women ask us, what are you thinking? And we say not much of anything, we are usually telling the truth. Women are the ones with a little scheme or plot constantly going in the background. A lot of the time, especially if we are cuddling and snuggling with you, we are there in the moment and not plotting something. What was once considered a conspiracy theory, but ended up being true. CIA selling drugs to gangs in the USA to finance the Contra army. Here's a fun burying all the unsold copies of E.T. in a New Mexico. Dude tracked a bunch of records of dump sites and mapped out where he thought it was. A documentary funded the dig, and sure as shit they pulled up a bunch of old Atari cartridges. Epstein's Island. Ultra. Tuskegee syphilis study. The fact that the term conspiracy theory was popularized and denigrated by us clandestine services to hide their conspiracies. Chemical pollution in the water causing homosexual behavior in amphibians. Round Earth, that India was targeting Sikhs abroad. From what I've heard from my Sikh friends, they've been warning about this for a while. Incoming Indian and Hindu nationalists in 3, 2, 1. What was the age you move out and why? 16. My parents told me to F off. I guess I'll chime in with a whopping 30. Felt it was time and set a personal goal to be on my own by 30. 0.28 because I want to have parties in a parentless house. Personally moved out when I was in the womb, but it's just personal preference 'cause the Wi-Fi was ass. At the age of 16 to work. 18, 3 weeks after the end of high school, went to the army and never looked back. I just could not picture myself any longer in small-town western Colorado. We're living with my parents, who I love very much. I just wanted to be out. 19 legal age is 18 here, and because I really needed a change of city at the moment. Have to add, never regret it. I was 17. It was not a good place to be. 18, I joined the US Army and have been fine since 57, and my EO son still lives at home and seems to have zero motivation. What do you hate the most about your life? Wern? Being poor and the cost of everything rising. I can't drink coffee anymore because it makes me violently the housing market. Missing a leg, dealing with phantom pain issues and constant problems with the prosthesis. Being in a loveless marriage. We both pretend we feel anything, but the fact is we are trapped. I feel useless. I've been unemployed for 6 weeks getting job interviews and follow-up, but can see the effect it has on my boyfriend. He is reluctantly supporting me and my cat without complaining, and I just sometimes cry 'cause I've never had that support before. I know the right job will come, and I am so looking forward to the day that I can make it up to him, that I'm not where I need to be, being born in a third world country, that I worry too much about things that are out of my control. Constant pain, breast cancer. What expensive product isn't any better than cheaper variants? I've found dollar store bleach works just as well as Clorox. Costco Kirkland products meet or exceed other brands. A coffin, it free for 12 years. Then suddenly it wants me to pay $130 year with option to upgrade to a $170 year tier, which is insane. I now use Obsidian, a free and better product. Ibuprofen, men versus women's shaving cream and razors. Just buy the male products and save. Edit spelling and spacing. All dishwasher jet dry comes from the same factory, same product, cheap or fancy. Magic erasers, melamine sponges. Pregnancy tests from Dollar Tree or in bulk off Amazon. There is no reason to spend $15 for 2 tests from the drugstore. The cheaper ones are more sensitive. What strange item did you believe to be normal or acceptable, but turned out to be a medical issue? When I was a bit older, I finally got glasses. I was so surprised to realize that things didn't just automatically get blurry the further away they were. It was like a revelation. I vividly remember staring at the sharp outlines of faraway mountains, amazed that I could see each tree so clearly. No more fuzzy blobs for me. I'll say it. Chronic diarrhea. I just figured it was due to my diet or something, and that everyone had it on a regular basis. Not every time, but frequent out. I have celiac, ulcers, IBD, and bowel nerve damage. That everyone's ears bleed or scab after wearing earrings. Turns out I have a nickel allergy. What is considered dangerous but is actually harmless? Going to bed with your hair wet or playing out in the rain. My mom used to tell me I would get pneumonia if I did that. Small bubbles in an IV line aren't going to kill you like the movies. The amount of panicked patients I've had is wild. Consuming food past the best by date. A lot of foods are just fine, but you have to be careful with certain foods. Piranhas. Read everything but did not see it. Sharks. Surprising number of people still believe msg is harmful even though it's no more dangerous than salt, and the lead is 5 times salt. Irk. It's not only harmless but truly elevates the flavor of food. Quicksand. It doesn't suck you down. Skipping breakfast. Harmless snake species. Having a baby, what next? Ensure you are both. 1. Resilient. 2. Ready to sacrifice sleep. 3. Understand symmetry in parenthood is not a fair expectation. Each person has different superpowers. Basically, lots of conversations that help reduce anxiety and be ready beyond the tactical day-to-day stuff. Hey, young mom of 2 here. My recommendation is to create a shared Google Word document and write down everything you can think of that might change when baby comes, and then work together to find solutions on how you will both handle it. That way you can have a written plan when things get stressful. Good luck. You will find, I believe, that with each thing you panic about and can't do this, you will mysteriously rise to the challenge like a champ. High five to both of you for your years as a friend of Bill's. Are at it and just never stop trying your hardest for your kid and family. What is the worst way you can break up with a person? Instead of just telling them it's over, slowly pulling back on communication until they get the hint is like a slow form of torture. Just be upfront and honest about it from the beginning. In my high school days around 20 years ago, I recall a conversation between a couple that went like this. Boy, hey, can you guess who broke up today? Girl, who? Boy, us. When my boyfriend broke up with me, he did it over text by asking about my day. I replied, fine, how was yours? His response was a punch in the gut. Great. Had a fantastic day with my girlfriend. Little did I know he had been cheating on me and chose to leave me for his mistress. We had been together for 4 years, living together for 2. Tough times ahead. The Star Wars galaxy has faster than light travel, but no Google. Star Wars takes place a long time ago. Google just hadn't been invented yet. Recently I heard someone say, Star Wars isn't really sci-fi, it's fantasy in a sci-fi setting. And that changed how I see the whole series. It's called Ask a Droid. I think the bigger concern is that Earth animals make occasional appearances in a galaxy far, far away. I would think the existence of droids that can basically compromise any system like repeatedly does, combined with the distrust of droids, would make a Google-like system very untrustworthy. You can say that for every fictional film. It's like saying Harry Potter has cool magic abilities in combat but no guns. If you know your Star Wars lore, it's called Hole in It. They also don't seem to have very many pillows, blankets, cushioning, or really much furniture at all. So much is built into architecture, or consistently very sterile. Always found that interesting. What historical secret is unlikely to ever be revealed? Where Jimmy Hoffa's body is. What was before the Big Bang? Comprehensive explanation of the Sea Peoples during the Bronze Age collapse. Who ate Dave's lunch at work last week? If there in fact was a second Roman with a spear on the grassy knoll at Golgotha during the assassination of Jesus. The contents of the Library of Alexandria. The recipe for Greek fire, just one of those things lost to history completely. Who framed Roger Rabbit? Assassination. The scope of Project Cultra. The scope of Project McNamee. I'm not telling where Jimmy Hoffa is buried. Who is Jack the Ripper? Would love to know what happened. Who let the dogs out? How the fuck am I supposed to know? The Voynich manuscript. We will likely never know who really won the United States presidential election of 1996. Who wrote the Book of Love?